Single tasking or multitasking? It's not good to do multitasking in general, but in this video, I'm going to share a few tips to help you do multitasking as a pro. Let's jump into it. A few people thought multitasking is a second weapon for productivity, but on the other side, actually it's not good, as multitasking requires to switch from different contexts, which can cost a lot of time to process information, and our brains also need time to get into the focus mode. And to be more specifically, according to the organizational constant Gerald Weinberg, adding one extra project causes a 20% loss of your time. Adding a third wastes nearly half of your time, which means if you're doing 3 things at the same time, you probably already waste half of your time on those 3 things. In those cases, the multitasking means doing something with similar scenarios or approaches. For example, writing an email and replying a Slack message. 2 tasks requires the similar tools and approaches, right? You are using your hands to type. You are processing information with your mind, and actually those are 2 very similar tasks. So it's not good for multitasking. You should do just one thing, then the other. So it's similar as a supermarket cashier. Dealing with a really long queue, it seems really stressful, right? But seems they can handle it quite well because they are single tasking. They just get one customer done and then move to the other customer in the queue. So it's a linear process. But multitasking, is that means it's totally not good? I don't think so. So personally, I find it's useful if I can combine something to process with my mind and something I can physically do. Then I find from the book Indestructible, the author Neil L. mentioned that the way to combine 2 different things together, for example, like walking and listening to podcasts. A lot of people doing that right now. We are using 2 different parts, like our mind and our body. So it's okay to do multitasking. If you want to check details, probably grab a copy of the book. Highly recommend. It's a really good book. And I find my mind will need to focus on only one thing as a primary task. Then I can try to add a secondary task, and it don't need my mind to focus or process any information. And more likely, the preferable secondary task will be physical task, as swimming, walking, or houseworking. Then combine these 2 things together, bam, I got a doable multitasking pair, right? So here are a few of my multitasking pairs. First, walking and listening to podcasts. So this is really fun to do that, as you can do some exercise, but also you can learn something from podcasts. And I do find while I'm walking, listening to some conversations is really easy. And as a pro tip, you can also walking and listening to podcasts using a recorder or using your Apple Watch if you're able to record some notes and do some audio notes. So by doing that, you can learn things and take notes from the learnings and also do some walking. So this is what I used to do sometimes in the evening, and it's really helpful for me to take a break from the work. And the second pair is houseworking and listening to audiobooks. It's something similar as listening to podcasts, but sometimes I find audiobooks are more informational for me to consume. Another thing that I recommend to multitasking is walking meetings. And this is something really interesting because I read it from Steve Jobs' biography that he used to invite people to do a lot of walking and talking, discussing the same things while they're walking. So it's really helpful for the conversations. And during the pandemic, everyone worked remotely, and we just stay in front of our computer screens for nearly 8 hours. And I find that walking to talk with someone is really helpful. I proposed to my boss during our weekly one-on-ones, we can do the old-fashioned talking while we're walking. And she just loved it because, she got many more meetings than I do, and she barely have the time to do exercise. So this one-on-one while we're walking, it's like one of her best meetings every week. Right. And the other suggestion, watching Netflix and do some micro workouts. And what I mean micro workout, you can use a dumbbell to give a few lifting or pressing, and also you can use other things like stretches or something else, or even just use a stepping pad to do some stepping while you're watching TV shows. And this also can help you to do some calories, but also quite entertaining at the same time. Another one, calling and doodling. What I mean calling, you can do some like calling on your phone, or just do your meetings, and you can use a sketchbook or notepad for some doodling. And by doodling, it can record your mood during the conversation. And sometimes it's quite good to take notes directly, but sometimes you can practice some patterns, and it's really helpful for your mental health. One of the best multitasking suggestion is to eat and chat with real person, right? So we humans get used to eat and have chat with people at our dining tables or in the restaurants. And if you're working remotely, more likely you probably will eat by yourself. I would suggest to call someone, and while you're eating, maybe friends or families, or just invite people for a virtual meeting, and you can just eat and chat with other people. It's a great way to take a break and to build some bonding with different people, and it's quite fun as well. Right, so this is the video is talking about multitasking. Hope it's helpful for you. And if you have any comments or thoughts, please leave below. I will see you in another video. Bye.